Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys Aliens Alien Warrior 6th scale figure. Okay, we're going to start things off by taking a look at the art box. Now this is probably my favorite Hot Toys art box. They did a really nice job with the Aliens Alien Warrior 6th scale figure art box. It's really cool. Right in the dead center there you have the Aliens logo, Alien Warrior, MMS 354, and just a really cool picture of the Xenomorph Warrior in the back. You have those bright blues and the darker background blues that are very reminiscent of James Cameron's Aliens. Down at the bottom you have the Hot Toys logo and the movie Masterpiece logo as well. On the side of the box, you just have the Aliens logo yet again. On the back, you have some of the details of some of the creators involved and licensing, whatnot. On the other side, you have the same Aliens logo, and up at the top of the box, the Aliens logo. Now this has a slip cover on it, so I'm going to take it off, slide it off, and you can take a look at what that looks like. So the box on the right is the window display where you can actually view the figure with the slip cover removed. So before we get a look at the Xenomorph Warrior, we're first going to take a look at the accessories that the figure comes with, and it's not really a whole heck of a lot. All you have are these two acid splatter entrance wounds that would mimic the warrior being shot by the Colonial Marines or whoever else, but it's made of more like a translucent plastic, not 100% translucent, but it is a clear, thinner plastic. Very nice green. It's got some darker details in there as well. And on the side, or on the back, excuse me, there are little clip ridges. I don't know if you can see that on each one. And those go on the rib cage of the actual figure. So I'm going to put these on so you guys can get an idea of what that would look like. So basically with those two accessories on, you get more of like a battle damaged Xenomorph Warrior, which looks kind of cool, but you know, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to display my figure with those. They pop on pretty easily and they can pop right off pretty easily. So I'm going to take those off just so we can get a look at the figure itself. Before we move off of accessories 100%, I do want to mention that it would have been really cool if Hot Toys decided to include something maybe along the lines of the egg or a face hugger. I would have much rather had that in terms of accessories as opposed to these battle damaged blood things. You know, a lot of Hot Toys, a huge pro to owning them is the figures come with a ton of accessories. It's a shame that the Xenomorphs, both the Big Chap and the Alien Warrior, do not come with much at all. A downside of this figure. However, looking at this figure, which we will do right now, it is absolutely gorgeous. It looks really good. The paint scheme on the head, the sculpting, looks so good, and so much like the Xenomorph Warriors did in James Cameron's Aliens. You have the posterior tuberosities, you have those like ulnar protrusion fins on the forearms. Let's get a look at the detail on the face and the mouth. Very cool. Down to the rib cage, some of the details on the arms, really giving it that biomechanical feel that all the Xenomorphs really have. Except for Covenant, they kind of steered away from that a little bit, but I thought the design was still pretty cool. Down to the hands, those long, very long, extended, fused digits that the warrior type was known for. You do have the long, ridged tail, and all the way down to the feet. They went in the way of like 3 to 4 toes, as opposed to the more humanoid look that the big chap had. And while we're kind of looking at it, let's take a look at the base. Really cool. I like how they included some of those acidic burn marks on the base. You can see there. A really nice touch by Hot Toys. It looks like some of the floor grading from Hadley's Hope, that facility that the aliens had kind of infiltrated. You have the name down at the bottom, Alien Warrior, and some nice kind of a hazard stripping on the steps there. Detail is really very well done on the base. Very happy with that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some concerns I have with this figure. While it's a visually appealing piece, in terms of functionality and posability, it's not great. You know, I know there's other collectors out there that have the same issue. The articulation is good. It's not 100%. There's just some things that I'm not a huge fan of. For one, the plastic or the material that they used for the tendons on the sides of the jaws is incredibly soft. You can see just how I move it like this, how much I'm able to manipulate it. It is so soft. You know, over time, I can't imagine it doing anything but just kind of falling apart. And you'll know what I mean if you do have this figure and you're able to tactilely feel it. You know, so that's something I'm a little worried about. I'm a little anxious about. I think over time it will not hold up, unfortunately. Another thing is it does have the mouth opening, inner jaw extending feature. On the back of the head, there's a little tiny tab. I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out. Right about there. Anyways, what you do is you can take your finger and you slide it forward, okay? And that causes the mouth to open and the inner jaw to extend. If my camera can please focus, that would be great. But yeah, it's cool. For some reason, I can't get mine to stay open. Like it won't lock out when I push it forward. And I'm not sure if you would anyway, because that puts a lot of stress on these softer pieces. And over time, if you display it with the mouth open, those are just gonna snap. It's not really gonna take long. Maybe some people have better luck than others, but it's just something to note. Speaking of which, the rest of the body is covered in this, well, at least the extremities, covered in this like softer plastic bodysuit to hide the joints. This is also something that's very concerning. You can see me kind of pressing it down here. Even in the directions that the figure comes with, it says not to keep the figure in dynamic poses for longer periods of time, just because these pieces will deteriorate. And when they're right off the bat putting that in the directions, you know, it's kind of a bummer. You know, same thing with the knee joints. That's why I keep them fairly straight. You know, yeah, especially with the Xenomorph Warriors, anything really post the first Alien, the Xenomorphs were very dynamic, crouching, running, crawling, hanging. You know, when you get a alien figure, I say figure because it's articulated, you would want to put it in more dynamic looking poses. So this is as dynamic as I'm getting, just those elbows flexed a little bit, and that's it. He's staying as is. Another thing I did want to mention, this left wrist joint is super loose. I'm putting barely any pressure on it and it just pops right off. They're on pegs, but that happens so easily on this figure. It's just something that I'm really kind of concerned with. I'm not sure if it's just my figure, but those wrist joints are extremely loose and they just fall off sometimes. Just with the hands facing downwards, gravity just takes them and they pop right off. So I really have to force them on there. But yeah, I don't want to be too negative about it because it is a nice looking figure overall. It is really gorgeous. And I also do want to mention another plus with the color scheme that they went with. You get the blues, you get the hints of blues that the Warriors were known for in the James Cameron film, but you also have a lot of undertones of grays and browns. It all depends on which type of light you have this figure displayed in. I tend to use the natural lighting, maybe warm lighting, and it really kind of gives off those coppers and browns. I'm not sure if my camera is going to pick it up, but it really is a really cool part of the figure. Looking at it in dimmer lighting or in brighter lighting, you definitely get the blues, but in warmer or more natural light, you get a lot of those browns, which the suits were actually made of like a brown or a brownish gray copper color in the movie. Really cool. Like I said, it looks good. However, you know, I wish I had more accessories, and I wish they went with some different materials. Some materials that I guess could stand the test of time. I'm not sure why they went with something that can potentially become damaged, you know, and they even admit it right in the directions, you know, don't do this, don't do that, because it will become damaged or deteriorate over time. The tail does have a bendy wire that all xenomorphs nowadays pretty much have, aside from your maquettes and statues and things of that nature. But overall, that's pretty much it. That's my review of it. You guys are certainly able to formulate your own opinions based on how it looks, or if you have the figure, or whatever. I like it. You know me, I'm a huge Alien franchise fan, so I had to have it. I don't have the big chap, but getting this guy, there was just a few things that I was disappointed with. Not to take anything else away from it, it is a good looking figure. Anyway, that's all I kind of wanted to touch base on today. However, I did want to mention, stay tuned, because within the next couple of months or so, I do have some major pieces coming in that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to own, take a look at, and share with you guys. I think there's 2 or 3 of them coming in. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So I'll catch you on the flip side.